Welcome to the fight of your life. Are you willing to die to shine? Power, nobody is taking us down. We are here for the crown of sound. Power.
Hey, it's Matt Pinfield. I'm here with Josh Bernstein and Katie Babbs for the Power Hour. We are backstage at Welcome to Rockville, Daytona International Speedway.
There it is.
And we are here with Johannes from the band Avatar. Johannes, great to see you again.
Good to be here. Thank you for being on my show.
Yes, it's
Yes,
yours now.
Johannes' show.
By the way, he's taking it over.
Well, clearly look at the seating, the seating arrangement. This
Yes.
is clearly my
I feel
show.
like we're in Dr. Johannes' office. and
Tell
we're-
me about your childhood.
Yes.
When did this
Well-
begin?
Well, it started when I actually was interviewing you at Welcome to Rockville when it was still in Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah. I
That was my
remember.
childhood, and I definitely was.
And did you think your
memory?
life took a turn for the better or worse after that?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, I think so.
Both.
And
Well, what would you like to know about the Power Hour hosts?
How did this even happen? Come
I
on.
don't know.
Well, it
Good
started on my
question.
couch on Twitch.
We lost
and,
the bet.
And with
Yeah,
Jake
it
Miller,
happens.
our producer, and then they lost the bet that I had, so
Yeah.
they came along and did it.
That sounds.
We're just
about
three
right.
kids who had a dream to one day be backstage at the Daytona International Speedway interviewing.
Well, what I imagine is
Avatar.
that you two are fighting for the legal guardianship of this man right here.
Yes, yes.
It's funny, we took photos of us, and every photo either looks like me and him are an older couple, and she's our rambunctious teenage daughter, or
Yes.
we're a young couple, and you're like, our dad is retired now, and now lives with us.
Yeah.
and we have
Yes.
to deal with his like cranky behavior.
And I won't
Yeah.
go away. You know, it's one of those things.
but all those scenarios are kind of real.
So what we are doing, we're pitching a sitcom, really.
Yes, at this point we are.
You're going to be our wacky neighbor.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
let's talk
Yeah,
about.
just, one of those that you
Oh my God! Yes.
I got a height for that role.
Yes, Dance Devil Dance, great new album, man.
Thank you
Talk
very
to me about how long were you working on that record for?
Well, don't know if you noticed, but a plague kind of happened, so
Yeah.
we did have more time than we usually have. We tried, we couldn't tour, as no one else did either. But we still tried to be as busy as we could when we put out Hunter Gatherer. So we did some cool live stream things, and we did music videos and everything we could think of that was possible to do while not getting to do what we wanted to do. But it did create a lot of extra time for starting earlier the writing process. And I thought personally, like, they're kind of all five of us, we're really a democratic band, so we really like finish songs together, but three of us are what I would describe as song starters, me and Jonas and Tim. And I personally, with all this extra time, I did a little folder on my computer.
That's it. I love
Yeah,
that. Was good, by the
and
way.
finish. That I named Solo, because it was finally time to shine. So after 100 terrible ideas, I got 2 good ones, and then just needed the guys to re-record the guitars as per usual, and then we were off to the races. But it was different, like the challenge of not making a flat-out COVID album, to have it be, because all our worlds became pretty small there for a while, and to write from a perspective.
I'm doing it to you. I'm
He
sure.
does it all the time. Don't worry.
Yeah, I do it.
No, but to try to keep your world big in that environment and make it not just about, blowing your nose and not getting outside much, was a challenge in itself. But then it was nice, because then you really could not just write more, because we are manic writers every time. We always have to start with too much material, but then also really to get to sit on it and stare into the wall and think what you want to do with life for a while. That was a bit different this time.
Yeah, The Dirt I'm Buried In is a great track. We played
Thank
the
you.
video here on the show.
The
Much
music
appreciated.
videos are so much
Thank you.
fun. I want to ask about the music videos because it's almost like you're watching a short film, with them. And a lot of music videos are just like, a band performing in the desert or something like that. But you guys had so much going on. Did you come up with the treatments for the videos, or did you kind of all collectively come up with it?
The core team usually for ideas are me and drummer John, and then Johan Kalén, the director and photographer of the video. Well, a one-man filming crew, really. He also does most of the post stuff himself. And we've been working together since Blackwall, so we're going on 10 years now.
Wow.
12 years now.
Holy.
And sometimes it varies from video to video if someone has a more fleshed out idea, but it ends up being that round table where it really becomes a mix. And from that comes a treatment, and we let him actually write a script, because he needs to envision how to actually shoot it
Yeah.
and all that. and which was the last one, Chimp Mosh Pit. We had a completely different idea first for that one, actually, of that was dependent on props and costumes, because we wanted to do us slowly turning into chimps while playing. Except, long story, but it was really funny. But then we couldn't get the monkey suits we needed for it, so then we had to last minute change it completely. So that was completely, throw ideas on a wall real quick to figure out what would
what
stick.
works
And
best.
I think this video is probably better than the other one would have been. So it all ended well. But really a mix. Sometimes back in the day, I remember New Land being something that I had really scribbled down most of the ideas for it on a napkin and then handed over. And sometimes U1 has 99% of an idea already when we start talking.
That's
But
cool.
group effort.
How collaborative it all is, and what a team you guys are. You guys have been a veteran of so many of these Danny Wimmer festivals.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're here today at Welcome Rockville. How would you describe like this experience and being at these festivals for someone like maybe one of your friends back home who doesn't get to be here? How would you sort of like even begin to describe, what you guys experience here?
Well, it's warm.
It's really hot.
Accurate.
Yeah, it's very warm, so which means I'm very hydrated and well prepared for that. But then I sit inside an AC, so I'm not sweating yet, so I have to pee a lot. But other than that, it's really nice.
I have that problem myself.
No, it's really good. I think these series of Danny Wimmer festivals are some that I feel like Europe overall has a pretty long, rich history of awesome festivals, big and small. And I feel like the US has been learning, and I think the Danny Wimmer ones are the ones that have learned the most and really captures the vibe, and also then just how it functions backstage, and what they feed us and everything are pretty top notch for this continent. So these are really good ones to be at, and we love it.
For sure. And for people who might not be familiar with Avatar, you guys are obviously so theatrical. Your outfits on stage and your makeup, your hair, everything. I want to know how long it takes you to get ready before a show.
As long as I have. To get the whole ritual in place and feel awesome, I like to have a 2-hour thing. But that includes also being ready and stuff. Yeah, like doing the warm-ups and then let it. Devin Townsend taught me that, doing your warm-ups with a bit of a, preferably 1 hour before the show, and then just let it sit. Somehow that feels better than just doing all the things and go right out on stage. No, so I start changing 2 hours before if I can, but then sometimes you arrive 15 minutes before showtime because you get stuck somewhere, because some dogs wanted to sniff on your bag somewhere on the highway, and you just use hopefully the car is clean enough, the van, so you see your reflection in it, so you can do your face paint before running up on stage, and that works too. But if I get to choose, it's 2 hours.
Yeah.
That sounds about the time I need to get ready.
Did the dogs find anything in the bags?
Never.
Never been caught.
Never been caught. Is there any other musician that you kind of look towards for makeup ideas? Because think about it, there's Alice Cooper, there's Kiss, there's so many bands who go super theatrical with the makeup.
That's definitely where it started before it even started. Like as a kid, we were, I think all of us in the band, drawn to the theatrical bands long before it was a.
Who were the ones that you loved?
Kiss was definitely one. The combination of Kiss and the Beatles led me to want to, as a 11-year-old, I wanted to be a singing bass player, first and foremost at that time.
Yeah.
So those were early ones, but it's also combined. The Kid and Alice Cooper, absolutely, and then it's weird if we ever play the same festival and I don't really know if I want to do that costume change into that red coat with a cane.
You're like, oh, I wonder.
But it comes from there, of course. But then it's also a huge part for me is I, was one of the 3 kids in Sweden that grew up with wrestling.
Yeah.
So Sting and Ultimate Warrior and stuff like that. And I think, honestly, the whole thing we do, I learned a lot about performing from being a pro wrestling fan as much as being a music fan, because the old school guys in wrestling nowadays, there's so much out there where they talk about what they were doing and how it worked, and they get into the nitty-gritty of it. And it's hard to find those interviews with James Brown or Rob Halford.
Right.
So a lot of my homework came from the world of.
I didn't know. I mean, we'd probably do another half-hour interview now, knowing I could ask wrestling questions.
He loves the wrestling fans.
I'm a wrestling
yeah,
fanatic.
huge wrestling fan.
And yeah, Sting and Ultimate Warrior, who started together as a tag
Yeah,
team.
yeah, yeah. The Blade Runners.
The Blade Runners.
And was it here in Florida?
I believe so. UWF or something
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Rick Bassman. Deep cuts here. Google the stuff, people.
2/3 of this couch is now zoning out.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
But I
Well, you know, I'm somewhere in the middle
Just like
because
that
I
living
would.
meme of like the guy whispering something and the girl,
And the girl,
like bored
yeah.
out of her mind.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you know, and I was the A&R guy who worked at Columbia Records and handled all the WWF into WWE records, like Forcible Entry
Yeah, yeah.
and WWE originals and all those. I was I put those records together.
Matt survived
I mean,
4
I
cage
was in a
matches.
WWE
Yes,
movie, so whatever.
And she was in a WWE movie. Well, I mean, that makes total sense. And like,
We're all, you know. there's so
It
many-
makes sense that we're all together in this room.
Yes.
Yeah.
well, you know, it's so funny, Matt. You'll
I'm glad we
appreciate
could
this.
finally resolve this.
Yes.
Ultimate
This
Warrior riff, if
therapy
I'm not
session.
mistaken, is Highway Star by Deep Purple. It's
Say
pretty,
again, that
The Ultimate Warrior theme song, that riff is pretty
Quite
much
similar.
to Highway Star.
bit more simplistic.
Richie Blackmore. So the wrestling and heavy metal over the top theatrics, it's always they've been strange bedfellows, but
yeah, but also because it's rooted in. Of course, all of this is different now for the better. But you know, back in the day, what heavy metal used to be this thing for adolescent boys first and foremost, and so was pro wrestling. You know, now it's something more and something bigger than that in both cases, especially metal, which is a great thing. But I think they're all both, they go kind of hand in hand to things that there's. If you lose yourself in it, that empowering feeling you get, the gratification, and you know, things that makes you feel big and strong. Turns out it's not just 13-year-old boys that can get something out of those art forms, but I mean, there's definitely that connection there.
For sure.
In a
Well,
big way.
thank you so much for once again coming on the Power Hour here on Access TV.
Two-timer.
Happy
Yeah,
to be here.
two-timer over here. We're
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing you at Welcome to Rockville here, and thank you so much for being here.
Johannes, thanks for joining us today. It's Johannes from the band Avatar. It's the one with the light on, right? Okay. That's Johannes from the band Avatar. Can't even talk.
Avatar.
Avatar. That's my new special way
Well,
of saying
because
it.
the word is in English, we do pronounce it always. So I do speak German also
Yeah.
because my
Yeah.
mom is German. So on stage, in Germany we are Avatar,
Avatar.
and in
Avatar.
Sweden we are Avatar.
Avatar.
So you know, so
Yeah.
it's from Hinduism to begin with. So there's no wrong way of
There's no wrong way
pronouncing
of pronouncing
it.
it. Thank you for
Alright.
that. Johannes from Avatar, right here on the Power Hour.